Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts, where we are now in game number 4 of a 9-game series between Mihu here in the top right of Butter and Calm in the bottom right. All right, so far, you know, like a little bit one-sided. Calm is leading 3-0, but I mean, this is an ASL Zerg, and I don't think it's Mihu's strongest matchup. Again, I really do think that he is much better at TVP than the other two matchups, but we'll see what he can get done here. I think he's been caught off guard a little bit. I think Calm has had some critical moments of strong defense, and hopefully Mihu can start to bring the series back a little bit. I would be surprised if he gets full swept or something like that. Feels like Mihu is good enough to beat almost anyone in the world, including the lower ranking ASL players, I guess is the right way to say that. Like, do I think he's going to be able to take a map off someone like Snow? No, probably not. Soma? No, probably not. Right? But some of these other players that, you know, maybe are not in ASL all the time, yeah, he's going to be able to take some games, I think. So, anyways, we are on Butter, 2-player map. Very quickly, Calm is going to be able to find him, but no real action as of yet. So I do want to take this moment to thank you for checking out ArtosisCasts. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Hope that you guys are all enjoying these matches. And yeah, that's that's it. Do it. Hit the subscribe button. It's very well appreciated. So just a little bit of light drone harassment here onto the SCV and building the barracks for Mihu. And, well, I mean, this is annoying, but honestly, I never find this to be like super strong for Zerg unless a Zergling rush is maybe also coming. Maybe in that situation this could make sense, but honestly, like, you're not going to kill the SCV. I guess you are forcing 2 SCVs not to be mining, but it's just, it's such a big percentage of the Zerg economy overall, right? Like, the whole Zerg build is going to get more slowed down more likely than the Terran build is. I guess when you're still on 1 hatch, it doesn't matter as much because you still have at least 1 per patch. But yeah, just generally early on, drones do not equal SCVs in count. Anyways, the drone will end up leaving. No kills, of course. Not expecting generally to see those kills early on. And Calm's build is actually going to be some sort of 3 hatchery variant. And it looks like 3rd hatch on location here. Okay, this is interesting. When you go for 3 hatch and the 3rd hatch is built like immediately somewhere else on the map, generally you're going to want to put pressure on this as quickly as possible. Actually, I've seen a new way. I don't know what Mihu's going to plan to do here. Okay, he adds a 2nd barracks before any gas. We'll see if he goes for a 3rd depot. I think if you actually want to punish this, I think you do need that 3rd depot, but you probably need it before this 2nd barracks. Yeah, I think he's just bringing it out here to build it like somewhere in that vicinity. We'll see about that momentarily here. But yeah, builds like this can be a little bit tricky because Calm is being super, super, super greedy right now. Now, there is that depot, but we are going to see a supply block here, perhaps. Oh, he lost his scouting SCV, so maybe that kind of fixes it mostly. But I like this from Mihu, the non-stop building of Marines out of 1 barracks. I believe... Now, from what I've seen, because I've actually seen some new counters to this type of play, like I was kind of mentioning before, when someone takes these 3 hatches on location... I saw at least one really interesting game where I forget who it was. Maybe it was Light or Rush or Royal, someone like that. Someone very high ranked within the Terran scene. Move out with the first 5 to 6 Marines and try to put pressure on, because you just... The thing is, if you wait for your 2 racks academy, then they just have to build the standard Sunkens, right? Like 2 Sunkens, 2 Sunkens. I guess with the non-stop Marine production, maybe you'll need a 3rd. But if you're not putting pressure on a little bit earlier, yeah, and see, he is moving out with these 6 Marines. Now, you don't need to necessarily dedicate this to an attack. You don't have to necessarily lose these Marines or anything. But if you can force more Lings, if you can force earlier Sunkens, things like that are very powerful. In fact, Mihu, oh my god, going to find this Overlord. That is a big, big kill, and that is going to force Sunken Colonies instantly. 1 here, 1 here. So 3rd base and natural both getting defended. 4 more Lings on the way. Where are those other lings? Okay, we have 3 lings here. Oh, God. Mihu's going to get some serious damage. So, yeah, this is really the right way for Mihu to punish this, right? Like, wait for those 5, 6 Marines, get out there, and suddenly Calm, you know, being put in a hard position. You know, he didn't get quick gas, so he didn't get quick Zergling speed. And look at this now. Mihu's standing behind the minerals. So efficient. Stopping a ton of mining time as well. Picks off a lot of lings. Gonna walk the Marines back. Probably best to just leave them here at this point. A ton of lings are being made from Calm. But Mihu back at home, getting a bunker. He actually is going to start to move out. Stim is almost done, which makes you reasonably cost efficient in any situation. But, like, I think he just basically needs to take the damage he's gotten and go into a normal game from here, I think, right? Like, right now, Calm is making so many lings that the best case scenario for him is something like this from Mihu. He might be able to get a punish, whether that is a counterattack towards the main or surrounding and killing off a secondary army. So here he goes up on top of this. Oh, the stim does force him back. Calm coming around with the other group of Zerglings. With the sunken up here, I don't think he can really try to break up. Honestly, this is a very killable army. Yeah, okay, he comes down with the lings, so Calm is going to be able to utilize all those lings that he created. He's going to kill off the entire group of Marines, get the medics as well. Some mutas are being made right now, and this is a lot of speedlings left on the map. 20 drones against 32 SCVs at the moment. Now, Mihu just needs to get his turrets up and stay in a defensive stance. Again, I think that that secondary attack was unneeded. He did so well with the first. You're just kind of ahead. Maybe, I guess, if Calm had made really minimal Zerglings there, maybe that second push out from Mihu would have done a little bit better. Like maybe he can get up and try to challenge the sunken colony, something like that, or at least force some more as well. In the meantime, Calm has gotten a very, very, very fast Queen's Nest considering how this game is going. My best guess here from Calm is he is going to probably do a Guardian Rush. Can't really blame him for something like that after the tough opening that he's had, the kind of low drone count. Might be best to go with some sort of all-in. Now, the mutas get on top of these barracks. He's going to see the timing here of the starport and the factory. It's not that many mutas, so it's really, honestly, not that scary either. Muta's going to have to fly out of here. Does end up losing one. Taking a look back down at Calm's base. Have that hive coming up. Just more mutalisks on the way. We don't really see any other production here from Calm. Occasionally a drone, but really just mutas at the moment. No real upgrade. Oh, a Hydralisk Den does get started. Now, the Hydralisk Den doesn't mean it's not a Guardian all-in. You can do Guardian all-ins with Hydras as your anti-air unit. That's actually probably the most popular way to do it, in fact. So wouldn't be surprised if he is still on that route. Now, science facility on the way. A factory add-on. Honestly, not sure what that's for. I think based off of Mihu's scouting, he should know that, like, tanks are not probably going to be well-timed enough here to really do anything. But Lurker upgrade is on the way, so there could be some utility in that. Doesn't look as much now like it's going to be a Guardian Rush that I was kind of suspecting before. Calm getting in on top of this, utilizes his lings and mutas there, and actually does a pretty good job reducing this army size. Look at that, getting on top of the next one that comes out as well. Mihu taking some damage right there on his army. Not a very large standing army for him at this point. And in fact, you can see the supply is catching up for Calm, despite being down quite a few workers. Defiler mound on the way. Wow, so really, again, not what I was suspecting. You can see we just saw a scan go off here, checking for that tech, and he's going to see the Defiler mound. So this is actually going to go into a more normal game from Calm. I am actually pretty surprised with what this looks like. It looked to me like Calm was going to go more aggressive, but he's actually utilized his mutas pretty defensively and just gotten really quick lurkers and defilers here. And I mean, that is going to be what's going to be able to keep him alive, basically. And honestly, on Mihu's side, like, the vessel's absolutely great. Double eBay. Okay, that's good. there's the second starport, and he did make a tank. Well, I mean, one tank I'm not really going to make a big deal about, but honestly, tanks in general this game, not going to be very useful. Unless this somehow turns into, like, Hydra Lurker Defiler, something like that. So some more Mutalisk harassment going towards that main base. Back at home, getting those lurkers burrowed, and Nidus on the way for that extra defense. Throwing down the extra hatcheries as well. This is something we've talked about a lot in Terran vs. Zergs that I've casted on this channel. If you don't have an easy fourth base, which generally occurs on on two-player maps, those extra macro hatches come in really, really handy. They allow you to field a big enough army to really push the Terran player back and secure your fourth gas. So probably what we'll see from Com. There is a possibility, by the way, that he just kind of does some sort of hyper-aggressive, almost all-in play coming up. Sometimes that is the best way to do it. If you think you can Defiler push all the way to their natural, that can end up winning the game, even if you're behind at that point. It's really just about getting those irradiates down in your opponent's natural. Now, we just catch the tail end of that. Com swooping in. He did have a couple Scourge in there. Ends up picking off one of the vessels coming down. So keeping that vessel count extremely low, which means these units are not really threatened by Irradiate at the moment, right? Like, we started off with just one starport. The second one just got added on. We've had, like, one Irradiate so far, perhaps. And the second vessel got caught. So Mihu's got, like, this pretty big Bioforce sitting outside, but really not much to do with it. All it's doing at the moment is, excuse me, containing. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. Does Com, like, run down and try to push out quickly and allow this containment to do something? He's getting Plague right now, so I don't think so. I think we'll see him just plague any groups that are trying to contain him and then try to push out. By the way, as we can see with this Hydra speed upgrade, this is actually going to turn into Hydra Lurker Defiler from Com, which this strat has been really finding its way into a lot of Zerg vs. Terran games. It's pretty rampant on the ladder. It's been popping into more and more pro games, even in ASL. And it's actually incredibly strong. It's like the hardest thing to actually kill. You kind of have to, like, bleed Zerg out all the way to end up winning against this. And here's another thing too, right? Like I mentioned, Siege Tank's going to be very weak here unless it turns into specifically this strategy, the Hydra Lurker Defiler. And it is. So we actually have Siege Mode on the way. We have +1 weapons for those Siege Tanks. And Mihu will want to grab 1 or 2 more factories as well. Like, you actually need to make a lot of Siege Tanks against this to really fend off the Lurker Hydra. Like, you can't do it only with vessels. Between Plagues plus the Hydras having such great range and zoning those vessels out, the vessels are much less useful against this strat than they are against most other things that Zerg does. A nice catch there on the drone. Prevents that fourth base location from being taken. Not going to be able to do that multiple times, though. Definitely Com is going to be able to get that down. Like I mentioned, again, this strategy that Com is going for is incredibly robust, incredibly hard to kill. Like, the thing is, it's like there's lots of Plagues, and I mean, Plague, you know, Marine Medic is supposed to beat Hydra, but you put Plague on these units, and or you put the Hydras under Darkstorm, and suddenly the Hydras actually really win pretty one-sidedly. I mean, one hit point Marines get one-shotted by Hydras. You know, you can kind of forget the fact that they have a explosive attack at that point. Now up he comes again. See, there's that Plague. And as the Plague brings down the health of these Marines, he will be able to start really shredding them. You can see everything getting down to 1 health. Mihu trying to turn around as that health diminishes. Of course, has a few Siege Tanks up here as well. Looks like he's trying to hold on to this position specifically. Little Containment Force here and a Containment Force here. So there's no real way for Com to run out and go around. So that's some great army positioning there from Mihu. No question about that. Tries to run down. Will be able to... Oh, just barely not snipe the Defiler. So now there is a path for him to get out. Mihu rotating his vessels over here for a moment. He does, by the way, have this third base and the fourth base just finished up. Gonna want to send some SCVs there pretty soon. And there is a second factory. Honestly, he doesn't have a lot of room for production. His depots are not very well placed. Probably wants to lift this off, maybe add another factory there, something like that. But definitely his money is going to start shooting up. It's going to be really hard to spend all of 4 base income at this point, especially with 70 SCVs. You need a lot of production facilities in this matchup to spend that down. Now, Calm has that 4th base. It is hatched. Not for that long as of yet. It's going to want to get some drones down there, but he's only on 43 at the moment. Not a giant economy for our Zerg player. But again, this is one thing to mention. This is the most cost-efficient unit set that you can get in this matchup for Zerg. So you can actually be down bases and fight for a long time like this. Throws down that Dark Swarm. Radiates being cast. Nice little forward movement with the Siege Tanks. Like, really interesting location that he has them as well. And of course, I love to see the groups on the sides preventing move-ups. Now, Hydras plus a Defiler somehow sneak their way past, which means we could see a lot of damage coming. Like a little Dark Storm here, target on the command center. Could be a fantastic move. Unfortunately, going to lose some of these before the Hydras get underneath a Dark Swarm over there. So that is a little counterattack that he has going on at least. The command center gets lifted. Mihu knows he can't deal with that very quickly. So we'll just back up for now. Continuing this push forward, he's got a lot of Siege Tanks here. Nice little run up with the Dark Swarm. That single lurker going to be able to hold everything back unless you throw a Dark Swarm on there. I mean, in a Radiate on him. The Dark Swarm, of course, making it so the Siege Tanks literally can't hit this lurker. Not with splash damage or anything. It's just kind of the way that Dark Swarm displaces it. It basically forces missed hits as if you're attacking on high ground and never hitting. So yeah, it's a funny thing, right? Like, it can do damage to things that are standing in here, but you had to irradiate it to end up getting rid of it there. Now Hydra's trying to break through that left-hand side a little bit. It's like Mihu getting ready for yet another base. You can see his money really going up very high. He is way up in supply right now. Mihu pushing back down on that side. Very, very important. Lot of Siege Tanks mixed in. Tough game for Calm. You know, Mihu gets that nice early advantage with the early Marine push against the very greedy 3 base. And you can see how good it is, how good Mihu is at continuing that lead forward. Like, that's the thing that I'm very, very impressed with here, right? Like, he got a little advantage early, and he's done such a good job at just trying to abuse it, right? Like, he got all these Siege Tanks in position. He's kept units on both sides. He has a very good understanding of what he needs to do to try to starve Calm out. But, you know, we'll see if Calm is able to make any moves to try to come back. I think he still has, like, a small chance, right? He's still got 100 supply. And don't forget, Defilers are the most powerful unit in the game once you actually get them. Obviously, they're Hive Tech, so it takes a bit to get there. But you can do some amazing, amazing comebacks with Defilers. Now, Mihu continuing to push forward. Continuing to force Calm to spend a lot of units to try to combat him. Lurkers run up and do get that burrow off. Very small force. I mean, it's only Hydras, unfortunately, so they don't have much of a chance to do anything here against Mihu. I mean, if you have the Lurkers in here, which he's trying to morph, or you even have some Defilers there as well, obviously you can run up and really shut down bases, things like that. But as is, Mihu continues to tighten the noose here onto Calm. Calm did force a cancel of that base, but honestly, 4 bases is enough. 100 supply advantage here still for our Chinese Terran player. The tanks continue to rain down fire. We even have a couple battle cruisers on the way, and I think that that probably has a lot to do with it's hard to make science vessels work here. They're very micro-intensive. Although battle cruisers are pretty hard countered by this strategy, I think getting a couple is reasonable in a position like this. They're still going to be somewhat useful. They're not going to be as good as in some matchups because there's a lot of anti-air units around that can sit under Dark Swarm. So we'll see what he gets done with those couple of battle cruisers. But Calm's window of doing anything really does seem to be closing. He's got so little left over at this point. Despite the fact he is on 4 bases, he's spending his money down pretty darn quickly. Mihu coming in, stimming towards that 4th. Gets an irradiate onto the Defiler as it comes over. Nice Plague, and Darkstorm goes down, so Mihu does have to retreat from that. Going to be able to get that one hatchery that was morphing. There is a single lurker over here, but not really in range. Can he kill off this hatchery? Great choice if he can get it, but I think it's just barely going to be saved here from Calm. Not seeing a lot left for our Zerg player here. He's got great upgrades. He's got a great unit set, but just not that many units. He's really been contained this entire time so well. We have Mihu just running back over and over again into the range of his siege tanks, which just rain down hell upon anything that runs forward. And as Mihu's setting up his 5th base once again, just rallying. Look at this pure fire bat at this point. That's the real kill move right there. I love it. Look at that. So many fire bats being made. Well, that's the one Terran unit that can hit everything under Dark Swarm. So, you know, I guess if you make enough of them, you can just stim in and maybe end the game. And in fact, he is going to go ahead and stim towards this other base. Should be able to get it without too much of a problem. Calm coming over, trying to get the block, but I think we're just going to have to see a GG as he loses that 4th. No real play left over. Battle cruisers even flying down as well. GG.